Hey, 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 you've tuned in to a new episode of The Checkpoint. I know, it's been forever. We're doing it. Are you already laughing? He's already laughing. Producer, it's the 2018 Video Game Awards preview. I'm Ryan Rugged Nerd. With me, this guy.
Mike Stepanich. Welcome.
We're just going to kind of talk about some of the genres, some of the categories. We're just going to get right to it because there's a shit ton of stuff that we're going to talk about. We're first going to talk about the esports best game. Or
best esports game. Sorry, not team. Best esports game. And so, as we go through these categories, we'll read the category and we'll kind of give you the description that they put out there because it can sort of pinpoint what they were looking for that particular game or that particular category. So, for best esports game, the game that has delivered the best overall esports experience to the players, inclusive of tournaments, community support, and content, irrespective of genre or platform. So the nominees are CSGO, Dota 2, Fortnite, League of Legends, and Overwatch, which are kind of easily the top 5, I would say.
Yes.
Maybe there's other games out there, but these ones by far dominate over PUBG or Gears of War, Halo, those stuff. Those things are minor. Yep. So I would even just take Fortnite out as well because it's had so many problems with its tournaments and lag and server performance. I don't know. They just had the Winter Invitational, so maybe that was better. I haven't really looked into it, but I would almost take it out of this category. It's almost in there just because it's so popular.
So you're obviously the esport guy. I don't really care about it all that much. Not that I don't think it's great. I think it is great. And I've played obviously a lot of these games. So right out the gate, my vote is Overwatch. That's the game that I happen to have played the most of. Our producer right here and I played a ton of it, and I am absolutely known for getting incredibly emotional, and I start tanking. I'll do amazing, better than everybody else out there, and then the minute something goes wrong, I get super emotional. I'm out.
All downhill.
It's all super downhill. Really, drunk, bridesmaid that's single. Everybody else is married and happily married that gets way too drunk at the wedding. That's me. I'm that drunk bridesmaid.
Yeah, what a great analogy. So let me ask you this question with that vote. Do you feel like when you played regularly that the content updates and the balance changes that they made were overly beneficial? Not overly beneficial, but just really over other games you might have played? I know you weren't playing CSGO and League of Legends.
I've played a little League of Legends. I've played a little CSGO. I'm not traditionally a PC gamer. Him and I just had a huge conversation about this all night. Yes, though, to answer your question, I do appreciate the updates. I actually really dug a lot of the season. This is a little bit separate from the competitive aspect, but some of the seasonal stuff that they did, I think it fits well. So I'm more coming from a non-competitive esport, player. I just like it as a game. But I think that the competitive aspects of it being an esport are amazing. And I love what they did with there's professional teams similar to NFL teams and NBA teams around the country, around the world. I really dig that. And I think that sort of sets it almost, at least from even from the marketing standpoint, I feel like it's more worldwide and more people, that might be non-gamers have an idea. Besides Fortnite. Obviously Fortnite is in a league of its own. But I dig what Overwatch did and how they implemented it into an esport context.
I would agree from the kind of marketing and league setup where it's the London Spitfire or something like that is one of the teams. They're teams from cities with names and brands, and that was sort of how they set it up. My issue with Overwatch is just they haven't been able to grow at all. They kind of came in really hot with OWL, and then it sort of died off, and then teams were getting in a lot of trouble, and that's not really what this category is about, I guess. Right. Is the teams and what they do, but they've had to ban several players. And I guess that was the same with League of Legends and some of these other games early on. CSGO, players got banned for toxicity and cheating and stuff like that.
It's just every professional sport, whether it's an esport or not.
Yeah, but it's been so much more
gross.
prevalent, I think, in the OWL.
Yeah.
Because of the age we live in, and so the instant reporting that we have on everything, and where CSGO, Dota, League of Legends are so established that they've sort of weeded out a lot of those issues already. My vote would be, because I've played CSGO, League of Legends, and Overwatch ranked, so I feel like I'm a little more versed in sort of some of the competitive scene, and I watch a lot of these things. I would vote League of Legends, partly just because I see the way Riot has things set up is they have a very strict patch schedule. Of like a patch every 2 weeks that updates and balances the content around community and pro play, and so they're very, very focused on making their league better than every other league. So I don't know, just throwing it out there. That turned into a really long conversation about esports.
Every fucking conversation is gonna be super goddamn long.
Okay, so let's move on. Oops, I clicked the wrong thing. Let's move on. What's the next category you got?
All right, we got best multiplayer game. For outstanding online multiplayer gameplay and design, including co-op and massively multiplayer experiences, irrespective of game genre. So we have kind of a Titan on top with Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Under it, Destiny 2 Forsaken. Keep scrolling. Fortnite, Monster Hunter World, Sea of Thieves. Right out the gate, I mean, I've actually played every single one of these games. I'm sorry, I accept Sea of Thieves, but I mean, I've seen a lot about it. My vote is, I love Destiny 1. I liked Destiny 2, but Monster Hunter World is going to be my choice, just because I played that with some friends. I had an absolute fucking blast. It kind of transcended the traditional multiplayer focus of first-person shooters. Sea of Thieves, I didn't have a chance to play. I know that it's doing something special, kind of same way that No Man's Sky eventually did, and even kind of did out the gate, but still my vote's going to go Monster Hunter World. I loved it. Yeah,
that's a super interesting choice. I have not played Monster Hunter World, though I've seen a lot about it. I would actually choose, and I'm in the same boat, where I haven't played all these versions, but I played Destiny 1, I played Call of Duty multiplayer and stuff like that. I would actually choose Fortnite. Because I've actually been playing a bit of it lately, and just for the category, the experience that it gives you, while frustrating, is with maps that big and maps that size, you get a different experience almost every time you play, and I think the ceiling for that game is super high. I personally have had a lot of fun playing it.
Yeah, I mean, you're not the only one. That game's like a fucking
yeah. So just
there's like game addiction. There's people that are there's children in school. They're have to see game addiction counselors because of this fucking thing.
Yeah,
that's infiltrated the world.
So mine would be Fortnite. So I don't want to, I don't want Fortnite to win every single category just because it's the biggest game out there. But out of these, I would choose Fortnite.
There's literally, producer just pulled up Parents' Guide to Fortnite Addiction.
Oh yeah, no. It's totally a problem.
It's a goddamn problem. It's fun. It's actually kind of funny because I bought Fortnite when it first came out, and it was not this at all. There was no battle royale. There wasn't even an idea. It was it was a co-op base builder horde mode basically, and I thought it was great. I spent $60 on it, and then it became battle royale, and that was the end of it. It's lighting up like the fucking 4th of July, but
yeah. Well, that's the new hotness right now. So, all right, let's move on. We'll touch on this one real fast. Best sports racing game for the best traditional and non-traditional sports and racing games. And the nominees are FIFA 19, Forza Horizon 4, Mario Tennis Aces, NBA 2K19, and Pro Evolution Soccer 2019. My slam dunk is FIFA 19. They've done a lot of cool things, I think, and every year, I feel like not every year, but the last few years, FIFA's done a good job pushing the boundary of what they do and what they're good at, and focusing on what they're good at.
Yeah.
And And so I don't know. I'm not a big racing fan as well, and so I'm not a big basketball fan either. So I guess that kind of kills some of the other nominees for me. But I choose FIFA.
I'm not. I didn't used to. I used to play NBA 2K almost every single year for probably like 15 years, and then about 2015, 2016, I started slowing down on it, and I truthfully don't even really pay attention to the NBA that much anymore. But that's still going to be my choice. I know they make a solid game every year. They have their story mode, which I'll let everyone in this room know. I came up with the fucking idea for story modes in sports game like 20 fucking years ago. I remember I was sitting in my bedroom at my parents' house with my buddy Tom playing Madden. And I was like, it'd be really fucking cool if there was like a story mode and you can like have shoe deals and like cheat on your wives and beat them like every other NFL star and make like a shit ton of fucking money. And then he was like, oh yeah, it'd be really cool. That's never gonna fucking happen. And then NBA 2K starts making your fucking story. It's bullshit. Anyway, I know, you guys remember.
Clearly, you're the only one who ever thought of that.
I'm the only one. I need royalties. Anyway, next category.
What do you want to do?
We got best strategy game.
Yeah.
Best game focused on real-time or turn-based strategy gameplay. We got Banner Saga 3, BattleTech, Frostpunk, Into the Breach, and Valkyria Chronicles 4. I don't know what BattleTech. I've never played BattleTech. I've also never played Frostpunk. Into the Breach is awesome. Valkyria Chronicles 4 is awesome. Scroll back up. What else we got? And all right. So I feel like I'm gonna choose Banner Saga 3. I did play the first two. I never beat either of them, but I really dig that type. I'm a big like XCOM fan. I like that sort of top down. I bet though if I was in depth with Valkyria Chronicles as a series, I'm sure that would probably be my choice. I feel like the only reason it's not is just because I haven't had a lot of experience with it.
Man, Valkyria Chronicles 4 is a re-release, and that game is so frustrating. You have no idea. You'd be happy that you never played Valkyria Chronicles 4.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me. It's hard between BattleTech and Into the Breach, because BattleTech is a really cool like XCOM style mech turn-based game. Where you have to sort of like discover the enemy, and there's lots of like things of shadow, like fog of war and stuff like that you can do.
Sure.
But my choice would be Into the Breach. I love the subset games.
Yeah.
They have tons of depth. I don't know that this one is good as FTL, but it is still really good. It has tons of customization, and
while he's talking about it,
it's very simple.
Into the Breach. So I mean, it's a little lesser known. Maybe we could try to pull that video up so you guys can see it.
Yeah, so I'll run it down real quick. Into the Breach is a turn-based sort of mech type game, but it's isometric 2D isometric style game where you sort of you have to play. The kind of enemies come into the screen. You're always overwhelmed. You only get 3 guys, but then you get to sort of customize their abilities.
It's almost like Pacific Rim, the game. In a lot of ways.
Actually, that's a really good way to describe it, because like water comes huge into play, where the mechs like can stand in the water, but a lot of the monsters can't. And stuff like that. And so it's a really cool. You can sort of start on different islands and like move into different places, and sort of their strategy to how you get through each island, and it gets progressively harder. So it's a really good pick up and put down game. Okay, well, I don't know if he's pulling up the video, but
he's pulling it off. Yeah, you'll notice, guys. My guys are gonna be off. I'm looking at the screen half the time, watching these videos. Next category.
Okay, I was gonna skip Family Game.
What do we got? Real quick.
And go on to fighting.
Alrighty.
So, fighting games. For the best game designed primarily around head-to-head combat. BlazBlue? Forgot how you say that.
BlazBlue.
Dragon Ball Fighter Z, Soul Calibur 6, and Street Fighter 5 Arcade Edition. I am not a fighter guy. I don't really play fighting games.
Not good at them.
I'm terrible at them.
The only one I've played out of all these or I'm sorry, the only one I haven't played is Blaze Blue. I've played Dragon Ball FighterZ, I've played Soul Calibur, and I've played Street Fighter. I'm not, I'm like you. It's not that I'm not even a fighter guy. I'm just not very good at them. I liked Injustice a lot. I played the first two. I really dug like the story modes. But for this one, I'm kind of torn between Dragon Ball Fighter and Soul Calibur. But I'll probably go Soul Calibur. It's just an OG for me. I've been playing it since the original Dreamcast. It's a classic.
They added all that customization where you can like make your own character and like you can like choose your own styles and stuff. And so it's not just like pick these 6, or 16 or whatever, 26 guys or whatever, and they'll have whatever moves. Now I can like create a character and choose a style and put, and sort of, tailor the moves to your style and stuff like that. Absolutely. It makes the online head-to-head so much more expansive and unpredictable.
All right.
Next category.
Ooh, this is going to be a good one.
Okay, we got to not spend an hour on this.
All right, we got best role-playing game for the best game designed with rich player character customization and progression, including massively multiplayer experiences. First one, Dragon Quest. We got Monster Hunter World after that, Ni no Kuni 2, Octopath Traveler, Pillars of Eternity 2, and that is it. So I do not have a Switch, so I did not get to play Octopath Traveler. I did, however, I've seen a lot about it. Of course, it looks beautiful. I did beat Monster Hunter World. I actually beat Ni no Kuni 2. I played Pillars of Eternity 2. I have not played Dragon Quest. So just out the gate, I think my pick is going to go, oddly enough, even with me not playing it, Octopath. I think that I liked a lot of what I saw of it. I love Ni no Kuni 2, don't get me wrong. I love the art style. I love the combat. It was a little on the easy side. Of course, Monster Hunter is amazing. I had a ton of fun with it. But I think Octopath at least did something. It merged, the old days of RPGs with modern tech. I love the blend of, like, almost that 16-bit look with 3D environments. It's a gorgeous game. I love the party system. I love the class-based system. Every game like this always has like the Ryan character, and they have one here. I think it would have been a day one purchase if I had a Switch at the time.
So I did play Octopath Traveler all the way to the end. The only reason, and this is I guess a little spoilery, the only reason I won't choose it is because they never tie, not never, they do, but they don't openly and directly tie all the stories together. You just play through all 8 stories and they sort of all finish, and there's not a lot of connection unless you go and find it through side quests and things like that. So you kind of have to make the connections yourself, which is kind of cool. I like that they tried something new, but I think it holds it back in terms of playability and storytelling, and that's sort of what this category is about.
Absolutely.
I feel like Ni no Kuni 2 and Dragon Quest are a little more traditional. Ni no
Kuni 2 did some cool shit though. There was one of those games that it kept surprising me. Like you think it's going to be the standard, third-person RPG. In a lot of ways it is, but then you get to a point where like it almost becomes there's a little mini like RTS mode where you're commanding small little armies to like do like an RTS battle. There's world building, with like you have your own little like kingdom, and you are building shops and doing research, and it has kind of that's like kind of an odd story with a little bit of like some dimensional cross rift stuff, and it was pretty cool. It was really cool. The only reason I went with Octopath over it is more because Octopath I think was I appreciated risk, and I think Octopath was rolling the dice a little bit more than, like you said, this is more of a little bit more standard JRPG.
That's a good point. My vote though is going to go to Pillars of Eternity 2, just for its depth and customization and sort of the really letting you play that game any way you want. And they're all kind of like that, but I don't know. I feel like Pillars of Eternity maybe did it the best. Yeah,
absolutely. And that's Obsidian, who now is owned by fucking Microsoft. So fuck
owned by who?
Xbox.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm not. You know what? I love the 360,
Awesome transition into the best action adventure game.
Yeah.
For the best action adventure game, combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving.
God.
This might just be a slam dunk, but Assassin's Creed Odyssey, God of War, Marvel Spider-Man, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
I thought this was best action game, not game of the year.
Yeah, I know, which is almost the same games. So I don't know. That's kind of hard, but I guess with best combat and puzzle solving, gosh, that's so difficult.
Yeah, producer just
I always have to go with
writes out there as
Spider-Man.
no right answer. Say that again?
I almost have to go with Spider-Man. I don't know that
Yeah.
its puzzle solving is maybe better than the others, but I think the combat and the fluidness.
Did you play it?
I didn't play it, but the comment that I just got in Discord is hilarious. That basically there is no right answer, but we all know it isn't Tomb Raider.
And you know what's crazy though? Like that's such a fucking crazy thing to say because Tomb Raider is just as close to a masterpiece as it comes. But these are all we're talking about. What is it? 5 masterpieces, and
Absolutely.
so I got
all
about
10
half.
of 10s. Like every single one is a 10 of 10 in its own right. Even if it didn't get rated that, they're all 10 of 10s in their own right. I mean, you could easily just say God of War because the puzzles are great, the combat's great, and new. Like the God of War combat wasn't God of War 1, 2, and 3 at all.
Exactly.
It was absolutely innovative. Same with Odyssey, Spider-Man. They did a lot of great things with just keeping you in the game and immersed, and that Batman-y, Spider-Man, combat mix.
So I'm glad you said that because I don't agree with the comparison because I've actually I've been fortunate. I beat Spider-Man. I beat God of War. I played a vast majority of both Assassin's Creed. I played a lot of Red Dead Redemption. I didn't play Shadow of the Tomb Raider, but I beat Tomb Raider and Rise of the Tomb Raider. It's the same shit. I agree with you though. I actually choose Spider-Man as well. Why I don't think I like the comparison is because I was having this conversation with a friend of mine. When I'm playing Batman, I could just about play that entire game, and when I get to a place where I have to do combat, I could pretty much get through it without ever using a gadget. Just literally doing punching, kicking, and counters. Spider-Man, on the other hand, I felt like there was more situations where I was forced to use my my gear and the things that I could, my equipment.
Yeah,
but it was so fun. I mean, my girlfriend watched me play a bunch of it. Like, it was so much fun to be Spider-Man. And, like, they did a really good job of making you feel like Batman, but, like, everybody that plays Batman knows that, like, you're pretty much killing those dudes. You're like snapping their neck and hanging them from a fucking streetlight in negative 20-degree weather. And then you drive away in your Batmobile and then you run over somebody like, fight justice. Like, those dudes are dead, dude. I don't know. Like, you just ran that dude over. Spider-Man, like, he gets away with, like, the fighting and, like, you don't feel like you're killing anybody, although there's some times where you're, like, punching and kicking people that go flying off a building. But I agree with you. We don't have to talk all day about it, but I completely agree. I think Spider-Man, just based on action, is the winner for me.
And I just want to come back and say, like, I'm not saying that Batman and Spider-Man have the same fighting system, but that's where that fighting system comes from.
It's very much inspired by it.
And then they evolved it into such a great, like, new system where you have to use Spider-Man's kit. And I haven't played it. That's purely from watching videos and watching other people play.
Dude, it's so fun.
You can see it. You can see how the gameplay is so much, like, smoother and better based on just the way people have to play the game. So like you said, you were forced to use things.
It's so fun, dude. Like, even like the little, like, challenge rooms that would be similar to, like, the Predator maps in Batman. Like, if you get caught in Batman and a Predator map, like, you get gunned down and you die. Spider-Man, if you get caught, it's like, all right, I tried doing this stealth, everybody found me, shit hits the fan, and now these dudes are trying to shoot you. You're whipping the guns out of their fucking hands and hitting them in the forehead with it. It's so great. But like I said, we talk all day about it. We can move on to the next one because I can go on and on.
Let's go.
Now there's best action game. It's the same goddamn thing we just did. Let's just move past this one. It's like the same thing.
I'm looking at it. I think we need to do it.
All right, let's do it.
Sorry, I'm calling it.
All right. Best action game. For the best game in the action genre focused on combat, we got Black Ops 4, we got Dead Cells, we got Destiny 2, what else? Far Cry 5, and Mega Man 11. I'll let you start on this one. What do you think your picks are?
Well, I think this was relevant because this is purely a combat-based game. The other category was combat and puzzles, like the whole aspect of the game, and this is purely which game has the best combat. And I would actually say it's Dead Cells. Mostly for sort of its just innovation of this side-scrolly rogue-like game, but the different weapons have different like strengths and weaknesses, and sort of different modifiers that make the combat very unique each time you play through.
Right.
Not that the combat in Black Ops 4 isn't better than previous ones, or Destiny 2 or Mega Man or anything. Not that the combat's not good and cool, but it's very similar to what it used to be, and I think Dead Cells pushed a boundary and did a good job.
So I haven't played Dead Cells. It's it's one of those things like as we're all getting older and we get jobs and lives, it's a little bit harder to play all the games that we used to, and that was just one of the ones that slipped through the cracks. Kind of being that roguelike, almost people sometimes like to compare it to the Souls-esque. Just nowadays, it's just if a game's hard, they like to call it Souls-esque.
Yeah.
But to your point of creativity and pushing the genre, I agree with you. I did happen to play Far Cry 5. I did obviously play Destiny. I'm always a proponent of, as much as people shit on Destiny, 1 and 2 for their missteps that Bungie takes, at the end of the day, Destiny is still one of the best first-person shooting experiences from a gameplay perspective. So when it comes to just sheer action, I guess I'll give it Destiny 2. I mean, just the Hunter alone is like my dream class, right?
Yeah.
Like running around with a hand cannon and blowing fucking aliens' heads off.
Yeah. And then pulling out a lightning staff, and destroying everybody. Like it's one of the most fun things in video games.
Yeah, and like that's what I'm saying. Like I know they kind of fuck up their their expansions aren't big enough or changing the thing, but the gameplay itself is unparalleled as far as I'm concerned, is in the first person genre category and all that. So
yeah, I have a comment on Destiny 2, but I'm going to save it for a different category.
For sure. All right, we'll move on.
Okay, so I'm going to skip a little bit, unless call me out if you want to hit on any of these. I'm going to skip best VR AR game, best mobile game, best independent game, and I'm going to skip best game for impact because I don't know enough about these games to comment on them. But if you want to talk about games for impact, please.
No, we can pass it. I mean, I know Celeste is going to be in Game of the Year. We'll talk about that then. But
yeah.
We can go best performance. Go ahead.
We can talk performance though. I think this is relevant to.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Absolutely relevant. So best performance awarded to the individual for voice over acting, motion, and/or performance capture. Brian Deckard as Connor in Detroit Become Human. Christopher Judge as Kratos in God of War. I'm going to try this. Melisanthi Mahout as Cassandra in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Roger Clark as Arthur Morgan in Red Dead Redemption 2. And Yuri Lowenthal as Peter Parker in Marvel's.
I expected him to be on this list.
This is pretty much impossible to me.
It is kind of impossible.
Because they all did such a good job.
Yeah.
I would probably say either Brian Deckard or Yuri Lowenthal.
Interesting. So Yuri gets a lot of love. He, a lot of the producers of God of War, and I forget his name, whatever the lead designer, whatever head designer, he dug, Yuri Lowenthal quite a bit, and said that was one of his first choices. But my choice is going to go to Brian, just because I played through Detroit Become Human, and he had to sell a performance A as an android, and B almost as like a naive android with this almost like this childlike wonderment in his voice, because he would it was like he was fresh out the gate, right? He was right out of the factory, and he had to be excited and almost see the world in these eyes of a child, but obviously this brash detective in a cruel, like futuristic, noir Detroit world, and I really, really liked it a lot. I thought he did a great job.
I think that's a really good point too, because he sort of had to run the gambit of like you said, from innocence to hardened detective in the span of a 20-hour, or whatever, however long it takes to beat the story of that game. Like, that's a lot of emotional and personal expression that you have to do inside one project.
Yeah, and it's written by great people.
That is really
these are the same guys that did Indigo Prophecy and Heavy Rain. Although I'm not a big Beyond Two Souls
so you kind of
fan.
expect a good written story. You got to be really, really good to handle what they're going to throw at you.
Absolutely. We don't talk a lot about it, but yeah, I thought he did a great job. I was a big fan. We got best audio design. We can pass that probably.
Yeah.
We could do best score. I'd do best score if you want.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Best score music presented by Spotify. Thank you, Spotify, $9.99 a month for Platinum, I think. For outstanding music, we got Celeste, God of War, Spider-Man, Ni no Kuni 2, Octopath, and Red Dead. I still have to go with, I think, God of War. I mean, that epic sort of like mythical, ancient, just like drums, you know what I mean, like heavy score. I thought it was great.
They seem to always put it in the right place too. With any God of War game, but even now, like, score has been such a focus over the past 5 years or so, more so than before. Where even a game that's not, normally you get like an Octopath Traveler where like, or something like that where music is really crazy, but now it's like even action games and adventure games are getting really, they're seeing the value of adding really good music at a really good time. Like, I still get like memories of hearing like Wild Arms music from a certain like part in the game where I'm like, man, I remember, like Final Fantasy Tactics, like I remember like playing that moment purely by hearing the song that was playing at the time. So
absolutely.
I completely agree with you. Now, that's also not having played Celeste, and I don't actually know a ton about the game.
I know, neither one of us have played it. I know it's a Game of the Year nominee, so we'll get a little stump there.
Maybe we're totally overlooking it, but I can't comment. So I actually 100% agree on God of War.
Yeah. All right.
Art direction. For outstanding creative and/or technical achievement in artistic design and animation. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, God of War, Octopath Traveler, Red Dead Redemption 2, and whatever Return of Obra Dinn is.
Nobody knows what that is. No one's ever heard of it. No one's ever played it. No one created it. It just showed up one day.
It looks like it has cool art.
I got, you know what? I think
I don't know.
I think I got to go with Octopath again. I think that blend of that, again, those like sprites with that 3D world, that was beautiful. I mean, of course, like, that's the thing. Like, it's not a right answer thing. This is the Obra Dinn.
It's a preference.
This almost gives me like White Knight, I think it was called. It was like an indie game where you were like it was like black and white, and you were a detective and you were like investigating like a haunted mansion, mixed with like Black Swan or the Unfinished Swan or whatever.
Yeah.
It looks cool. It definitely looks cool, but I still gotta go Octopath.
So what pushes it, I think, over with Octopath, because like God of War and Red Dead and Assassin's Creed, for me, like, those are big, beautiful games. And if I climb up on a point in Assassin's Creed and I look out and I can see for 20 miles and these beautiful mountain ranges, but I can see the detail of the city, like, just below me, like, that's amazing. Red Dead, the trudging through the snow, where
sure.
like you can see like all the footprints.
Even
and
like the swamp, you like kill a guy, they fall in the mud, and then like there's like their body print in the mud.
Yeah, and so if you like pick them up or what, like, and that's amazing. But like Octopath hit all like the little things. If you went to the status page, there was like an amazingly drawn 3D like picture, like painting almost on the right side of the screen of like a real world rendition of these characters, and and then just like whenever you entered a building, because there wasn't really building entering.
Right.
Like, well, there was, I guess, but like whenever you like went to like a shop or whatever, just the way it like transitioned from outside to inside
Mm-hmm.
Like this like zoom that they had on it just made you, it felt immersive. It felt like you were entering a building, not just that you were changing scenes into another building. And if you could just sit there and the clouds, like during the story playing even, like the clouds would come across the screen, but it was very clear it wasn't just a loop of like clouds. Like there was some sort of dynamic generation of the clouds or the rain or the lightning or the snow or like in a sprite drawn game, the backgrounds were as beautiful as Assassin's Creed.
And I love that, like, every category that we're even talking about today, like, there's no clear winner really. Like, we're living in a world now. There is no more like Thor the video game, you know. There's no Alpha Protocol. You know, there's all these like there is no.
Don't say that.
It's funny, like
always an Alpha Protocol.
Like Darksiders 3 just came out, and it's like there like that's such a rare game. Like there's really not like these like sort of B tier. I mean, there's like I think there's like really like it's just like there's God of War, and then there's indie games, right? There's Assassin's Creed, and there's like these indie games and these like huge, massive AAA big budget. Are you about to play Alpha Protocol? No, maybe Microsoft will re-release it now that they fucking own Obsidian, those pieces of dog shit.
Look, who's the person who bought it 3 times? Okay,
I beat it. I went there day one at GameStop. I was like, I'm here to pick up my copy of Alpha Protocol. They're like, this morning it got delayed 6 months. And I was like, cool, I'll wait outside. And then 6 months later, I was like, I'm gonna play Alpha Protocol. And I put that fucker in my Xbox 360, and I was like, it's Knights of the Old Republic, but with spies. And then I started playing, and I was like, why are my submachine guns hovering a foot off my body, even though they're in my holster? I was like, this game's really dumb. And then I sold it immediately, and then like 20 years later, I bought it again and beat it. And I was like, that wasn't good still.
Yeah.
It still wasn't good.
It's one of the funniest stories you've ever told me.
I've told you a lot of stories, I think.
You have. Okay, let's move on. Because again, we could talk for an hour just about. We could talk for an hour about Alpha Protocol, let alone the amazing games in these categories.
All right, I don't remember who said the last one.
Yeah, we're on you.
Okay, best narrative for outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game: Detroit Become Human, Quantum Dream, good one. God of War, Life is Strange, Spider-Man, and Red Dead Redemption 2.
This one's hard. I have 2 like I can't decide between.
So it's tricky because you have like games like Red Dead, Spider-Man, and God of War. They go one direction, right? Like you go to point A to point B, and you know there's about the same story, but it's a little bit different when you have Life is Strange and Detroit Become Human. So for me, as much as it might be an unpopular opinion, because God of War's story is so good. Marvel's is good. Spider-Man's really good story. It's not gonna like win any awards. I mean, even though we're talking about awards, it's not gonna win. Mark my fucking words. This will not win this category. I gotta go with Detroit because it's one of the few games that promises like your decisions will make an impact, and then like they really fucking don't. I feel like this game they really did. Like what you did really determined your relationships with these other characters, how things would play out, how they reacted to you. If you could die, your characters could live, they could die, like totally depending. I really dug it, but a close second's God of War because God of War had a very good story. It had a very, very, very good story. I dug it.
Yeah, I have to choose Detroit as well because of very similar reasons. They all have really cool stories, but you're right. There's sort of a very solid point A, point B, point C, point D. Like you're gonna get there. Like something happens in Red Dead that like I think you've played it, right?
Yeah, of course.
Pretty far. Okay. So spoiler alert: your guy gets tuberculosis.
Spoiler for me as well.
I said, have you played it? And you said, yeah, man, of course.
I did. I have. Of course, I played it. But okay. Anyway, that's not a big deal.
Fine. Never mind.
There's
things about the story that you can't change, and in
Sure.
Detroit Become Human, there's a lot of things you can, and I think those games always rise above the rest.
Yeah.
So now I'm getting flack from producer as well for saying
How
that.
do you know that? How do you know this?
Um,
All right. Well, now everybody knows that. Next category.
I said spoiler, like you guys be like, well, I haven't played that.
I didn't expect that. I thought you were gonna
Nobody
be like,
said
spoiler, you have a
anything.
revolver.
Nobody said stop. Like everybody just said, yeah, we played it.
No, I'm all hot.
I didn't say he died. I just said he got sick.
Does he die? Don't fucking say if he dies.
So that I actually don't know if he dies.
You're not saying that he doesn't.
I have no idea. I literally have no idea.
He dies in the
This is
first
something
one.
This is
John
something that
Marston.
happens relatively early in the game, I thought.
Spoiler. They came out like 8 years ago. All right. Beck's game direction. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. I feel like I just ruined. Like we're gonna cut out that whole section and just not talk about our direction.
I know it's just gonna be like, now we're gonna talk about Red Dead, and then it's gonna cut to best game direction.
Okay, best game direction awards the game studio for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. A Way Out, Detroit
I will
Become Human.
vote, I will
God of
vote for
War,
a way out. Doesn't matter what category it's in.
Marvel Spider-Man, Red Dead Redemption 2. Your vote is A Way Out, apparently. Yeah, I actually didn't. I haven't played A Way Out because I don't have any friends besides
it
you guys.
changes everything.
And you guys played it together, so
Okay.
I was the third wheel there.
Okay.
Just to make you guys feel bad. No, I never really played it, but I hear it's amazing, and from what I know, it is kind of a slam dunk in this category because of the things that they did.
It is. It's like, so as a game, it's like not gonna like, it doesn't do anything like insane. Like the gameplay itself is pretty fine. Like it's a solid like 6 or a 7, but just the way it's implemented with the I don't know if you guys know this, but it can literally only be played in co-op. You need another human being to play this game. This is one of the only games I can even think of on record in the history of video games. It literally requires 2 people to play. I'm sure there's other games out there that do it, but this is like a big time one. And there is literally a scene that I won't get into where you're running around a hospital and the camera's cutting back between you two as you're doing it. It's fucking. Oh my god, my nipples were like the size of cucumbers, man. Like it was like one of the coolest fucking things I've ever seen in a video game.
It reminds me of what was that? It was a shooter game from like the Xbox PlayStation 2 era, where that was like a co-op. And it's like right on the tip of my tongue. I can picture the game. I can picture the title. I just can't see the words.
PS2 era?
Kane and Lynch.
Oh, I know Cappy. Both Kane and Lynch's. So the first one's like, they're like, hey, this is a cool game. Like, you're a couple criminals. But by the end of it, you're like invading like Colombia or something. And it's like you two who are just like overweight white guys with like just minimal combat experience taking on an entire like Colombian army. And then it gets like really weirdly hard. And then the second one, they have like a weird camera and it's like shaky. The second one's basically Cloverfield without the monster.
I mean,
This is it. This is the second one. It's Cloverfield without the monster. I told you. Anyway, not a good game. Don't play
All I
it.
said was it reminded me of the game where it was a co-op based.
That's
game.
actually pretty accurate. I can totally get the comparison. If you want to
Oh,
play a
Way
game
Out's
like Kane and
fun.
Lynch that's better, play Army of Two.
Oh, Army of Two as well. Yeah, gosh, great.
So, small little mini story. So, you were able to create your own mask in Army of Two, and I created an Iron Man one and a Deadpool one, and they got taken down by the game developer or whoever because they were like copyright infringements or something.
Nice.
That's how good my Iron Man mask was. So,
Oh, that's amazing.
You're welcome.
Let's move on.
let's move on. He's showing Army of Two. We
That was
never
a
got
good-
enough of it.
That
All right,
was
we
actually
got.
a good game. I can't lie.
I-
Army of Two is a good game.
I didn't know this was a category until right now. Why don't you hit us with it?
It's me.
Yeah.
Best ongoing game awarded to. You just want to do game of the year. That's really what it is. I'm pretty sure that it's actually you, but I'll let you have game of the year. Best ongoing
You're on
game
to me.
awarded to game for outstanding development of ongoing content that evolves the player experience over time. Destiny 2, Fortnite, No Man's Sky, Overwatch, and Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. So, okay, so this is actually tough for me because given my comment, so this is the category I was saving my comment about D2 about.
I didn't think that comment was saved for today.
It was
Spoiler.
it's saved for this moment right now.
Yeah.
I only played my character in Destiny 2 to level 11 or level 8 maybe, something like that. Whatever it was. It doesn't matter. I played it up to a certain level, just playing through the story, and then I got to a certain point in the story, and then I went to go to the next point, and it said, I was 3 levels too low. I had to go grind like daily missions and grind like world events and just grind like farm spots to get 3 levels to get to that next story point. I literally said out loud, F that S, and I uninstalled
You literally said F that S?
I said F that S, and I uninstalled the game.
Were you by yourself?
Oh, I don't know.
Why didn't you just say fuck that shit?
It's just what came out of my mouth. Like,
F that S! And Bungie, like there's someone that Bungie with headphones that's like, sir,
look,
you're never going to believe this. He said it. F that S.
So, I literally uninstalled. The point is, I uninstalled the game right then and there.
Yeah.
Like, I was so pissed off that I had to grind out 3 levels just to continue this story. Like, why would you do that?
It's annoying. I agree with you.
And so, my understanding is now it's not so, like, it maybe the beginning is still kind of like that, but they fixed a lot of the other things, and the progression is a little better and smoother, and there's a lot of cool things you can do and whatnot. It still isn't my pick, but that was my story. Like, sure. Destiny 2 started so rough that...
Destiny feels...
I love Destiny 1. I put hundreds of hours into Destiny 1.
Yeah, we all did.
And this could have been way better. They could have gotten off way better with Destiny 2.
Empire Strikes Back. That's the best sequel there ever was. Hashtag behind me.
This is a hard category. I don't think Fortnite deserves it because
I have an answer. This was actually, oddly enough, this was an easy category for me.
know.
So my pick is No Man's Sky because I'm one of the few that actually liked it right out the gate. I'm not saying that he, God, I forget his fucking name, but Hello Games, I know they definitely misled us. I for sure agree with that. But I happen to have, and I have a CP story. It's actually the first CP story I ever did was on No Man's Sky, and I had a fucking blast playing it. And at that point, you got to think you're Hello Games. You're not even that many people, maybe like 20, 30 people. You're getting like the living shit beat out of you by the community after you release that game. And rather than like take it like little bitches, they like spun that shit. Listen, I rose up from the fucking ashes like a phoenix when my life got hard, and so did fucking Hello Games. And they turned that game into like, it's like so good now. It's always been good in my opinion, but like better and better. It looks great. They've added fucking multiplayer like 45 years later after they said they would. There's base building, crafting. It's awesome. We have the video right now with the new update.
They just added underwater,
Mm-hmm.
and they're about to release another expansion. So they really have put a lot into that game that they set. They're finally getting to their promises. The way that dude promised things.
Not good. I agree with you.
He sold it terribly. No, not Sean Murphy.
Sean Murphy might be his name.
That's the most generic name you could come up with.
That's his name?
Besides John Smith.
Who can get on this? Hello Games guy. We gotta find out his name. Anyway.
So I don't know. So now that I think about it more though, Sean
Murray.
John. Okay,
close.
fine. Murphy, fine. But you picked Sean. So I said I wouldn't give it to Fortnite, but now that I think about it, like every season, in the middle of the season, Fortnite adds like crazy fun things to their game.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's what's keeping this game going. Like they added turrets and they added, 6-shooters and they added like redeploy and like lots of this stuff people complain about and they hate, but it makes the game super fun.
Yeah.
No Man's Sky is probably still my pick because of the way that the things they added, and there's like Destiny, Fortnite, Overwatch, and Rainbow Six all have the expectation of balance and progression.
Well, and a lot of them...
No Man's Sky doesn't really.
Right.
Like they could have just added like, oh, we added underwater, oh, blah 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 blah, like, and it still would have like people still would have played it.
Yeah.
But they went above their like what they could have done, and they're delivering above what they should be, not should, but what they could have done,
right.
And still gotten the same like, this is great, we love this response.
Right. Well, and like No Man's Sky, or I'm sorry, Overwatch, Rainbow Six, they add like new characters. You know, it doesn't really change the game all that much. You know,
Sure.
even Fortnite, I mean, I know it changes a bit how you play the game, but like what I like about No Man's Sky is they literally add completely new aspects and functions and systems into the game that change it drastically.
Yeah.
But I know let's just move right into it. We got the big time, and you know what? I'll let you introduce this one. You thought it was me? You were wrong about me.
I just introduced 2 in a row.
You don't even know me.
I want you to have it.
Oh, okay. Well, if you insist. So, Game of the Year, recognizing a game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Ubisoft, Quebec, Celeste by Matt Makes Games, God of War, Sony Santa Monica, Marvel Spider-Man, Insomniac Games, Monster Hunter World, Capcom, probably doesn't belong in this category, Red Dead Redemption 2, Rockstar Games.
So before we dive into it, I just want to give, because I don't want this to get lost, because I know we're not going to talk about Celeste very much, because neither of us have played it. But the fact for this dude, Matt Makes Games,
It's gotta be Matt.
Get into Game of the Year category
That's huge
against these powerhouse games, and it's not like there aren't other games that could have gone in over Celeste.
Yeah.
Like, Celeste to make it into this category is an absolute astonishing feat and huge step forward for indie to be recognized.
I can't think of the last time, and then of course, like someone will be like, "Oh, well, last year was the last time," but I can't think of the last time an indie game was even in the nominations for Game of the Year. I don't know. I think our producer's pulling up last year.
I think he actually this isn't just like an indie game. I'm pretty sure this dude made
Wait
this game.
Wait a second. This is the guy that made Towerfall, isn't it? This looks just like Towerfall. I fucking love
he made Towerfall. No, I'm pretty sure he built this by himself. Even
that's impressive.
Like story, gameplay, everything. Like to have those skills all wrapped into one, and like to grow your abilities over the years that well, like it's super impressive in and of itself. And so I want to call that out because we aren't going to talk about Celeste, and I'm not going to pick it. So I want to make sure we, give due where it's due.
So I think that we should go about, because we may get closer to agreeing on this. Why don't we try to knock games out first? Let's say the things that we don't
go backwards.
Yeah. So as much as I mean, anybody that's watched us before, of course, I'm a big nerd in general. I love superheroes, and especially Marvel. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to pick Spider-Man. I loved it. I beat it. I beat the living shit out of it. I had a fucking blast playing it. But compared to some of these other games, it's out for me.
So do you want to? Do you want to just do your reverse order then?
Yeah.
Like we'll each give 6,
we can do that.
5, 4. So I think both our 6s are Celeste because we don't know anything. Like we don't know about it to give it any higher.
Right.
Your 5 is Spider-Man.
I don't know if this is necessarily my reverse order, but I would knock out Spider-Man for sure.
That's
fine. Go ahead. You can knock out a game.
I would knock out. I would knock out Spider-Man as well.
But
I would also knock out Monster Hunter World.
I would knock Monster Hunter World out. I
think in comparison to the other 4 games left, it does not quite reach those heights.
Yeah, I agree with you. I absolutely adored that game. And that's the thing. I've played literally every single one of these games except for Celeste. I beat God of War. I beat Spider-Man. I beat Monster Hunter World. I've put a sizable chunk in Red Dead Redemption 2 and Assassin's Creed.
Not enough, apparently. But yeah, a sizable chunk.
I didn't know about tuberculosis. No one did. No one's beaten that. You're the only one that knows that.
I watched somebody else play it.
You gotta play it yourself, man.
I don't have time for that.
You can do it in 12 parsecs. Just hop in.
Hey!
All right. So, as much as
so I want to can I cut the next one?
You sure can.
Because it's relevant to my background.
Got it. I think I'm gonna agree with you here.
I am not choosing Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
I agree with you. I think this is the best the series has been.
Why?
Well,
yeah. Agreed. I want to know why you're knocking it out of Game of the Year.
So, okay,
that's a big deal.
I think it's absolutely wonderful. It's probably the most fun I've had with the series since Black Flag. I liked Syndicate a lot. I actually did not play much of Origins. It wasn't for me. I absolutely like. If you ever could have made an Assassin's Creed game, first of all, in a setting, Ancient Greece would be my choice. It's like super into it. I love that. I Greek myself. I love that whole setting. But I don't think it's doing anything too crazy. I think it's actually. I don't really think it's much of an Assassin's Creed game, to be honest. I think it's just a really good RPG that happens to be set in Greece. I know it can be more Assassin's Creed if you like really dive into the modern world stuff. And I know the first expansion I think is even talks about like the first actual assassin, even though I thought that was supposed to be Origins, whatever. But yeah, it compared now when you compare it to God of War, when you compare it to Red Dead, I don't think that I would even argue probably doesn't even hold a candlestick to them.
I didn't say that, but I think it falls off in story and in innovation through after the beginning. It gets a little stale, where other Assassin's Creeds have maybe got more interesting, and it might just be because they give you a lot of everything at once in this game.
Yeah,
and then they sort of. And so you just kind of play through your way after that, and maybe it's just too different from an Assassin's Creed game, and that's what throws me off. But I haven't beat it yet, but I've put 20 or 30 hours into it.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
So I'm far enough to say I can confidently say that it's not. I think I'm like it's not as good as God of War or Red Dead.
So so that leaves us with the last two.
God of War and Red Dead.
You know, even right now, I'm not even sure I know the right answer there. I haven't beat Red Dead. I have beat God of War. God of War really did something special. One of the things, of all, that people may or may not actually know, that game is shot entirely in one take. And what I mean by that is it'd be like if one camera was following the action the entire time. You never, there's never a cut ever in the entire game, unless you obviously load or die. And the story is fantastic.
Which you will.
You will die.
You will die.
Here's why I'm knocking it out. Because whereas a lot of people were so quick to give it a 10, and it arguably is a 10, where I started to find some issue with it is, and it's kind of ironic considering it's a God of War game, is the kind of lack of boss variety battles. You start off fighting, which I guess it's still pretty recent, so I won't get into spoilers who it is, but you have a fight very early on. It's a mini boss battle that's absolutely earth-shattering and fucking amazing, and you're like, holy shit, if this is the game I'm about to play, it's amazing. And then, that's really it. You fight a lot of just, the same fucking troll over and over and over again until, a couple boss battles later. And that really, really, really fucking bugged me, because God of War is literally known for its amazing boss battles. So, for that reason, I think I would have to take it out, knock it out the list.
That's interesting.
But the story is great. Everything's so good about it, but that alone... And
I actually am knocking out Red Dead.
Good. Good.
And I'm knocking out Red Dead
because you didn't want to get TB, bro. Sorry.
Because he gets tuberculosis.
So he doesn't make it.
And so I don't know. I don't feel like story-wise, and I haven't played through it all, and so I haven't actually played it at all. But I haven't seen the whole story. Or this is what I do though. I can preface all this with, I don't have time to play every game that comes out. Red Dead wasn't something I had time to dive into. Playing Assassin's Creed and playing some other things. So I watched a lot of Red Dead. I watched a lot of someone else play Red Dead, and so I feel like I have a handle on the story and the gameplay, and without actually having done it. Grain of salt, still, I guess, my comments, but. I don't feel like
you've been playing video games
crazy.
a long time. You know you'd be getting into if you played Red Dead 2.
I don't feel like the story revolutionized anything necessarily. It was good. Not that God of War revolutionized anything, I guess, but I thought it was good. But I thought there were better told stories.
God of War was really personal, which is what was good. The story was a very personal story.
Yeah. It felt Red Dead feels a little generic, Wild West 1800s. or whatever years it's set in.
Sure.
Kind of, like it just feels like that generic old time story, where everybody's killing everyone, and there's this feud between. Sorry, distracted by a question. So it's but gameplay wise, it looks great. They do a lot of cool things with the weapons and the weapon switching. You get to rob trains and do a lot of cool stuff, but it's not the first game where you get to rob trains either. So
yeah, I actually
before you dive into it too. I mean, this close to me saying like Red Dead over God of War. Like, I'm saying I'm knocking out Red Dead, but like I could easily turn that around. I probably convince myself looking in a mirror that I should choose Red Dead over God of War.
Yeah.
But go ahead, please.
No, I if you had actually asked me even like a week ago, I probably would have agreed with you. It took me a minute. So I got Red Dead. I mean, literally the day it came out. Literally, like I do all my games digital. I got it. I bought it a month or plus before it came out. It unlocked for me right at 11 p.m. Started playing. And I was really tired, and I was like, I only played for a couple hours, and I was like, put it down. And then I only played a few hours here and there, and it was like, it wasn't clicking. And then something happened when I started over. I was only, like I said, I was only maybe 3-4 hours in. I actually had a chance to sit down and play it, and I started over. And then I was like, okay, like I get it now. It's a very slow game, and we could literally do an entire podcast about how I don't think Red Dead is for everybody.
Yeah.
And how an amazing game or a great game doesn't also always equal a fun game. That's a tale for another time. But something happened the more I played it where I was like, okay, like this is clicking. And literally, we all went and got pizza earlier, and I told the producer a story about this like really small side thing that had nothing to do with the main story that could have just as easily not happened. That happened to me that ended up like taking me on a path of a really great story that again had nothing to do with the main story, but just like those almost like No Man's Sky moments that like kind of appear out of nowhere. And it's times like that when I'm like, okay, I kind of see why this could easily be Game of the Year. It's it's Rockstar. I mean, no one's saying anything that people don't already know that play video games. Rockstar's up there with CD Projekt Red. They're up there with past BioWare, where they just make these stellar fucking games that are unparalleled. I mean, we could go on and on and on about it. I know we want to touch on a few more things before we end the show. Red Dead's actually my game of the year, regardless. If you could choose any game of the year, would it be different rather than the nominees?
Any game? Well, here I have a slightly differently worded question. Because any game's hard. Of the games so to touch on, I haven't played a lot of these games, but I've played a lot of different games of games that you've actually played. What would be your game of the year?
It still would be Red Dead.
It would be Red Dead. So you've played Red Dead, so that's kind of easy for you. So that's for me, I guess since I haven't played it, games I've actually played, that's hard too because I've played a lot of games and some of them are old. So I guess that you can kind of...
My game of the year is Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah, my game is a game that's 27 years old.
Yeah.
It's probably Assassin's Creed, especially games,
it's great. That's why I love that category, because every single one of those were masterpieces.
Yeah. Oh shoot, what was it called? I just blanked on the name. There was an indie game that is not necessarily like game of the year quality, I guess, but was one of my favorite games.
While you're thinking about it, let's touch a little bit on the future. So we have a little break now. I mean, we've got Smash coming up.
I got one more question for you. Sorry.
Fucking Smash. Yes.
It's probably Diablo 3 because I played the crap out of that for the past 3 weeks.
It's game of the year every year. It's game of the year every year. Diablo 3, Demon Hunter for life.
So we gotta. I have to call our producer. Not call him out. Sorry, but do a shout out for him.
He can't hear you.
He wants to know why there is no Xenoblade on this list at all. In role playing game, at least Xenoblade Chronicles 2 should be on this list.
Is it this year? Was it when did it come out? Do you know? Oh wait, he can't talk. He's a mute. He's a muted. So I don't have a Switch. There are
March?
probably right now, besides Zelda, which I did play and beat, there are 2 games that would make me buy a Switch, and it is literally the game that you can see right now, and then also Pokemon, because I'm a Pokemon trainer for life.
Absolutely.
Region.
So, worth calling that out, I think.
It is. I'm sure it's amazing. I would play it in a heartbeat. It's right up my alley. But yeah,
Yeah,
let's talk about
I
it a
really
little
want to play
bit.
it, but it's like a 120-hour game, and
That's too many hours. It's like Persona 5.
Yeah,
No one's ever beaten
I'm
Persona
playing.
5.
I'm playing Diablo, and
Persona 5's not even done. They're not even finished making it yet. They're still making it, hoping to God that no one gets that far. All right.
Sure.
We got 5
minutes.
We got 5 minutes. What's on the future? I'm really excited about Kingdom Hearts 3. That's obvious, though.
Yeah.
You know what a surprise game? Okay, a surprise. I mean, it's not a surprise, but a surprise game that I'm actually really looking forward to is the Resident Evil 2 remake. I think it looks like a fucking amazing.
I think it'd be really cool because it's a remake and not a remaster.
Yeah, he's showing Smash Brothers right now because that's all he fucking cares about.
Well,
I get my ass kicked all the time, and so I don't like playing Smash Brothers.
The reason I don't want to talk a lot about Smash Brothers is because it comes out next week. And like 6 days, right? Something like that, 5 days. And
he's playing the remake now, or no, he's not.
It's gonna be a great game. Don't get me wrong, but like everybody already knows that. So let's talk about RE2 remake. Like,
oh, dude, it looks so good. I mean,
if you haven't played RE2, even if you have played it,
it's not good.
You're getting a new game.
First one's amazing, but like it's one of those games that just holds up like dog shit now.
Yeah. They all kind of do, which is amazing.
I mean, like 4's fine. Like 4 and 5 are fine. But yeah, no, 2 is actually 2 is my end all be all favorite. I've talked about this. We watched any of our shows before.
We've talked about that. Mm-hmm.
Resident Evil 2 is my favorite Resident Evil, and so I've been excited about this from day one. I didn't expect it to be quite the remake that it's turning out to be. I mean that in a good way. I can't wait.
Yeah. Let's see.
We don't have to talk about Kingdom Hearts is like obvious. Like we all.
That too. Like we all want to see it. The Final Fantasy VII remake. We all want to see the next. The next part of that. What is the game?
We got Anthem, which looks great.
What's the samurai?
Oh, Ghost to Tsushima or whatever.
Where is that?
I don't know if that's. There's no release date. There's no release date for that. There's no release date for Death Stranding. There's no release date for Cyberpunk.
Not even on here for 2019.
Ghost of
Cyberpunk. Yeah, Cyberpunk 2077. 100% looking forward to that.
The next ones are Kingdom Hearts, Smash Brothers, Resident Evil 2, Division 2, Anthem. Those are like early next year.
Metro Exodus.
What's that? Yeah,
Metro Exodus.
Kind of hidden.
Left Alive.
Not quite hidden gems, but a little bit hidden gems.
There's a Crackdown 3 coming if you liked Crackdown. Like,
dude, that game
I never played Crackdown, and that's just not my game. But I know there's people who think Crackdown is like one of the coolest, most fun games ever. It's like Far Cry on crack.
Yeah, I get it. Like they have that new, they have the new cloud-based engine, so they're like cloud bringing in the fucking world as you're playing in it. I mean, Devil May Cry is coming out. It looks awesome. I'm not real big into the hack and slash games these days. I'm Division 2, March 15th. I love the Division 1. I'm excited for that. Shadows Die Twice, March 22nd, although there's no multiplayer, which seems sort of odd for me considering it's a Soulsborne game. Days Gone, pushed out to April. That's not a PS4 exclusive.
Oh yeah, Shadows Die Twice. You got it. Sorry.
A lot of good stuff. A lot to look forward to. I'm kind of glad there's like this little lull right now, though, because I still have to beat Assassin's Creed. Maybe. I'm for sure going to beat Red Dead. I'm excited for the future of gaming, though, man.
Yeah, you get a little time.
I know we were going to kind of mention some rumors. Shenmue 3. Don't even get me fucking started on Shenmue fucking 3. Really?
They literally announced that to get people to go crazy, and then
they were like, "Yeah, it's not going to come out." Final Fantasy 7 remake too. They were like, they shot that like 3 years ago.
And then like last year they said that Final Fantasy 7 remake would be a multi-disc. Like they're going to release it in chapters, and then you're just kind of like,
yeah, but I don't know if that's actually accurate. I don't know. That's all.
No, they said like the producer said that's they're talking about it.
Last of Us Part 2, that's to be decided. But long story short, check out check out the Game Awards this Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. There's apparently a ton of game announcements. We don't know anything about them. The biggest one was the Superman game from Rocksteady. It was debunked. It was confirmed that both Rocksteady will not have a game announcement, and that they're also not working on a Superman game. The one thing I do know is the Russo brothers, who directed Captain America: Civil War and Winter Soldier and Avengers: Infinity War, are going to be presenters. I know that Marvel has said that we're going to see the Avengers 4 trailer before the end of the year. Maybe that'll be the time.
Right.
Maybe they'll finally talk about the Square Enix fucking published Avengers game. I don't really know. Anything you can think right off the top of your head?
Is it's games that we have never heard about, or it's just games like are we going to hear more about Cyberpunk? Like, I feel like that's probably good.
Maybe they're going to be like, we don't know anything about the game, and then one day randomly be like, here's 48 minutes of it. You know, who the fuck knows?
That'd be awesome, actually. I'd love to see more about Cyberpunk or something.
Any final thoughts?
Man, it's been a good year for games.
It has been a good year for
It's been a great year. So many good games come out.
Hurt my
Indies,
fucking pocket,
Triple A's, like just your little niche games.
Yeah.
I mean, Persona 5, like you nailed it. Like there's people who are obsessed with Persona games, and they gotta be going crazy. Like that game is out, and there's so much to do, and it's such a big game.
Yeah.
So, niche,
whatever you want it to be, pal. No one's gonna watch this.
Does it really matter?
It doesn't.
I'm
in the goddamn cockpit of the Millennium Falcon. Does anything matter? You're standing in Greece right now.
Niche.
Alexios hasn't moved a goddamn muscle in over an hour. I'm worried about him.
How do you pronounce niche?
Are you Googling that?
Stick with niche.
Well, I can assure you that this is the end, because we're not going to sit here while you Google how to pronounce this.
I am.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
There are several ways.
Checkpoint.
They're all right.
Watch the Game Awards. Maybe watch this too.
I pronounce it tuberculosis.
Got it. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Uwenwei, which is I own you backwards.
Thanks, the rugged nerd.
You're welcome. Till next time, gang. Signing off.
Till next Game Awards.
Till next Game Awards. Maybe we'll do this again. Like next 2 weeks.
Like next game. Oh, okay.
All right,
We'll do post game.
All right, see you.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, see you. All right, we're done now.